Good afternoon, everybody. I'm very happy to have here with us Sister Filo Hirota, a Mercedarian missionary of Paris. She's one of the speakers of the last webinar of the series, Sisters Empowering Women. Good afternoon, Filo.
Hi, good afternoon.
From Japan, so it's really afternoon for you. Thank you for accepting this interview during the webinar, which will be in September 29 at 2 p.m. Rome time. You will talk us about the role of women in the peace building process in general, according to your huge experience. I want to share some elements of your bio, which is very interesting. She served in the Philippines, Nicaragua, Mexico, and Rome. She's the former Superior General of the Missionaries of Paris, and she had a huge experience. She's actually also now in the peace building field with Pax Christi International, Catholic Nonviolence Initiative, and she's the current, she collaborates with the Catholic Council for Justice and Peace of the Episcopal Conference of Japan. Sister Filo, how have you been empowering other women through your mission?
First of all, I don't think we empower other women. I think women themselves can empower themselves. What we could do and what we should do is to create space or create relationships where each woman can discover who she is, what she is really, and in our faith, we know that each person is God's image. So I think an important thing is that a person can grow in relations. We need relations. We need relationships. We need to be interconnected to be able to grow to be what she really is. So especially in the religious congregation, we are a community of women united in light of a specific founding charism. So we really share, and we are united as in the core of our own identity. But at the same time, we need to create or continue creating this life-giving relationships in our daily life, which is a big challenge. And when we try to create this interpersonal relationships, which are liberated and liberating, then I think we are in a sort of privileged situation where each person can grow into who she really is.
I like the word liberating. Perhaps we will be back to this word later. I just want to highlight now the fact that perhaps also in religious life, women are not always empowered and able to express their vocation fully. So you were the former Superior General of your congregation. In your opinion, how a leader can help the empowerment of the members of a congregation?
I think one of the problems of the religious life and Catholic Church is when Jesus of Nazareth calls us to live discipleship of equals. So we are all equals. That's the fundamental, because how many times Jesus says the first will be the last will be the first, and there is no teacher among yourselves. So he is really talking about equal relationships. and only equal relationships can be liberating. So what is important is that we have to be convinced of this equal discipleship. But traditionally, for example, we have superior general. Even the terminology is really hierarchical. In our congregation, for many, many years ago, we scrapped superior, and we said, okay, we are all coordinators. But anyway, the church is hierarchical, and religious life has been, and in some congregations, still very hierarchical. So that means that our sort of our relationships were not helping us to be ourselves. And that now I think the congregations and religious life, consecrated life, is changing a lot. And we have been living almost more than 60 years after the Vatican II. And Vatican II came up with a wonderful vision of the church as people of God. And right now, Pope Francis is promoting this synodal church walking together. So I think we are in a sort of great moment as a congregation, as church, to really enable us to live this equal discipleship of Jesus of Nazareth.
Thank you. I think this is a very good wish for this synodal journey, and also for us as USG, the preparation of our plenary, which will take place next year in May.
Yeah.
Actually, we design.
Yeah, excuse me. It's very sort of interesting that Japan, the Catholic Church in Japan, is such a small, invisible minority. But especially in the work of Justice and Peace, we work with other sort of groups of other denominations and also the non-believers. But people have sort of an idea about religious life, especially sisters, and not anymore. But before, I was asked, can you do this? Or can you go out? Or do you have to be your convent at certain time, such and such? So I said, no, I have my key. I can go. I can arrive. I can come home anytime I want. So this so it's all it was before. The question was, can you do this or can you do that? So that means that people, even if they don't have anything, they don't know anything about the Catholic Church, somehow they have the idea of nun being a sort of obedient, sort of submissive woman.
This is very interesting, and I mean, for your culture, but I think it's common also for other countries where Catholic sisters are not the minority. So thank you for this, for underlining this. Now I would like to go more, on the direction of our theme, which is peace, which is the last word of the Magisterium of Pope Francis that we decide to talk about. So, which is the reality of the women, for instance, in your country, in the peace building process? We live in a very violent, fractured, broken world. So, which is the role of women to build peace at all levels?
I think the role of women is really important and necessary and needed mission to work for peace. And of course, the situation of women in Japan is that in a gender equality list, Japan is down under, really, the 121st or something like that. So the situation of women itself is violent because there's a discrimination, and there are sort of like yes, there are many problems, but at the same time, the challenge of peace and the challenge of violence is really very great at all levels, like climate change, and then also, for example, that Japan is a country that suffered atomic bombs in Hiroshima and Nagasaki. But the Japanese government has not signed a nuclear bomb prohibition treaty. And another very serious problem is a nuclear power plant. There's no peaceful use of nuclear energy, not at all. Nuclear power plants is highly dangerous. Japanese bishops came up also with a very clear statement a couple of years ago about the danger of nuclear power plants. And the people who are committed to be involved in this kind of movement for peace, be it abolition of nuclear power plants, abolition of nuclear arms, or also climate change, etc. The many women. I think women, we have a sort of almost like a natural capability to work for peace, being peaceful and nonviolent persons.
I think this is a key theme also for communitarian life, how we can learn to live our relationships in a way that do not hurt the other person, do not hurt me, but we can create really a new space where we are both okay, we can feel both at home. I think this is the challenge, Sister Philo, at all levels. This is why during our webinar where we talk about the different levels of nonviolence relationship. So
Yes.
thank you very much. I just have another last question about your current work in the Episcopal Conference of Japan. How do you feel, which is your experience working, with bishops as a woman, as a religious sister?
I worked with the bishops Asian conference. Federation of Asian Bishops Conference many years ago, and I had the experience of being the only woman in a pool of bishops and priests. That was a long time ago, and in those days, very often I felt I was invisible, really, and then also the interesting experience is that only those bishops who are sort of normal human beings or very human beings would come. Like, for example, in the dining room, I would be sitting by myself and nobody is coming to sit with me. And only those bishops who are normal human beings would come and sit. And so that those of us who are working in the offices would talk about, when we talk about some bishops, and we say, well, and Bishop so-and-so is wonderful because he's very normal and he's very human. And so my question was, what is happening to this Catholic Church where Jesus Christ was a most normal and wonderful human being? And all of a sudden, it became a rare quality in the Catholic Church to be a normal human being. So, of course, this was a long time ago. So right now, I'm working with the bishops because right now the Catholic bishops in Japan, they are preparing their response to Laudato Si, the seven-year program platform and goals. And so I'm working with the three bishops, I think, 3 or 4 bishops. But the Catholic Church in Japan is a very small Catholic church. I mean, the bishops' conference is also very small, and then also in society, as I said, Catholic Church is almost invisible. It's a very small and powerless church, and and then also most of us are convert, so we don't know much about who is I mean, what does it mean that someone is a bishop or a cardinal or whatever? And I lived in Nicaragua and Mexico, where the Catholic Church, and then also the Philippines, where the Catholic Church is a really powerful and influential presence. And Japan is not like that. So, and then we know each other. So now I don't have that sort of strange experience of being invisible like I had many years ago. And then I always said it's good that the church in Japan is a poor church. And being a poor church, you can understand many truths.
Well, thank you very much, Sister Filo. We wish you the best for your mission, and we will meet you again to listen to your reflection on the role of women on the peace building process during the webinar next Wednesday, I think it's. And
it's Wednesday. Yes,
Wednesday,
it's Wednesday.
September 29.
Yes.
2 p.m. Rome time online on our website, as you can see in the banner. You can find all the information. There is no need for the registration, so we wait for you on next week. Thank you, Sister Filo, and have a nice day.
Thank you very much, Patricia. See you.